Mik'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God.
So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should stay
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Friday, September 15th. Welcome to Feel Good Friday here in Perkins Row at Cards and Culture. If you are out and about and you are walking the streets and you are window shopping, don't just window shop here. Come on in, hang out with the show. We're here. It's open to the public. It's the only show all week that we have here at Cards and Culture that is open to the public. There's a lot to talk about on this Feel Good Friday, a big football show on this Feel Good Friday. Got a little bit of a late start. We got new cameras, very crispy cameras, as you can see. We had to make sure we had the color contrast going. We had to make sure the lights were right. So excuse our tardiness, but we are here. We are ready to go. Like I said, we have a big show. Coming on the show via video call at 1:15 is Jake Crain. If you don't know Jake Crain knows ball. We posted him a little bit about it. He stirred some stuff up around the LSU faithful, talking about how he'd like to see Jaden Daniels throw the ball down the field a little bit more. But he has his own show. Is it Crain & Co., right? Is that the name of it?
Crain & Co.
Crain & Co. Could have said yeah. A simple yes would have sufficed there. Crain & Co.
You're awarded no points.
Yeah.
We're all now dumber,
Yeah.
which I strive to do.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that. Crain & Co. Coming on the show at 1:15 via video call. We're going to talk about, I hear an echo in my ears, by the way. That came out of nowhere. There we go. That's way better. Thank you. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about the SEC, talk about LSU, talk about what's going on around college football. NFL football last night started, Thursday night football. It started off like every Thursday night football game has started over the last few years as a stinker. A lot of fumbling, a lot of sloppy play. Second half, the product was a lot better. My over hit, thank God. My +6 did not hit, pushed, thank God. Lloyd, who is his road to 3K or 4K or 5K, however big he wants to go, he told me that I needed to buy a point to 7, which was a smart move, but he also believed in the under. I knew the over was going to hit. The 7, I did that. Same game parlay, didn't win that, so ended up even for the day, which is better than what's been happening in my previous endeavors of NFL football.
I got 2 texts from Mikey, one of which was, under looks good. Next one was, over looks great.
Over looks great. Great's better than good. It was a span of 2 quarters, though.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was
right.
like one play to play.
I was right for 24 minutes.
Yep, you're right, it's okay.
And the app I used, no, I won't say any names, no free ads, Caesars, wouldn't let me bet the Vikings live at 10.5 because they realized they made a massive mistake, and they're like, that line's way too high. And they were like, oh, you can't log in. You can't log in. You get like, yes,
and what was it when you actually got to be able to put money down?
Oh, 6.5.
Yeah, of course. They did it right. They did it right.
Nice 3.5 points.
I'm no longer interested.
Look how crispy your camera looks, dude. Look at that. You're a model, bro. This is good stuff. Immediately following Jake Crain from Crain & Co. is Justin Frommer. He covers Mississippi State for 247. He is coming on at 2 to talk about the LSU Mississippi State game. So you're going to see a couple different angles. You're going to see a national angle, a guy who doesn't really have a dog in the fight, just enjoys football. And then you're going to see an angle from somebody who covers Mississippi State religiously as his job.
A literal dog in the fight.
Literal dog in the fight.
So you'll get 2 neutral and 1 dog in the fight. So we're just a regular.
Hey, look, sometimes from what we've seen in the past, talking to beat writers, those beat writers are more negative about their team than fans. So you're going to get this real, like...
Could be the
everything.
SEC.
This guy's also a fan of Detroit. I'm very happy about that. Yes. So we'll talk about some Detroit.
Lions or Tigers? Or Bears? Oh, my.
I think the Tigers is what he mentioned. So it's great. So he's going to come on. We're excited for this. We're looking forward to this. Obviously, LSU starts the SEC play this weekend on the road at 11 a.m. in Starkville. We've talked about that all week. We've talked about what we wanted to see from the Tigers. Now we get to hear from the Mississippi State side, and we're going to be able to go back in conversation and kind of see what's going on. Lloyd, as my producer, can you let me know when Jake is in there so we don't have him waiting, and we can go from there. But while we wait, a lot of news about Colorado. And look, we talk about them a lot on here. I think everybody around the country that covers college football is talking about Colorado because of the turnaround that Deion Sanders has done over there. They're 2-0. They are 24.5-point favorites at home against Colorado State. College game day is there. Stephen A. Smith is like, there's just a lot of energy there, right? They've already agreed to adding more seats to the stadium next year. Deion has done everything he said. There's a lot of, things being said by the Colorado State coach, and Deion is doing what Deion does. He is taking that and he is running with that, and he's using it as motivation. He's also using it as a marketing ploy for his sunglass company. He just gifted sunglasses to his entire team so they can wear sunglasses, and to Pat McAfee today on the Pat McAfee Show. So I'm excited about it. I think that's really good for college football, and I think at the end of the day, everybody looks at a coach and says, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what you're supposed to look like as a college football coach. But if you can coach and you can get them to believe in you and you can motivate them and you do the right stuff on the field, it doesn't matter how you look, as long as you produce. And I think that's what he's showing you. You got something to say? You're nodding like you're agreeing. I know you agree, but I
just don't understand. Like these coaches that get these college jobs, a lot of them go through a long ringer of things before they're ever able to get to one of these like Power 5 big jobs, to where they kind of get a feel for what to and what not to do.
Right.
It's just crazy to me that 3 weeks into it, like it's been example after example after example of what not to do when you're playing someone else, to give them bulletin board material, to give them added incentive, to give them more motivation, and they're all just, hey, yes, everything that I've learned, I'm going to throw it against the board because for whatever reason, this guy's not doing it how everyone else does it, and I need to let him know that we see that we don't like that he's doing it this way.
Right,
and it's not working for anyone.
And there's something to be said about, okay, this guy's doing something differently, but it's not really working, and so whatever. But just because you do something differently and you're succeeding with it doesn't mean it's the wrong way, right? It doesn't mean it's not sustainable. I think it is sustainable, and I'm excited to see what happens. I don't think Deion Sanders is going to be at Colorado for very long. I just don't. Obviously, I think he's going to be there for a few years. I think he's going to continue to do this. And if he creates that into a monster, they're going into the Big 12. I think he could stay. You know what I mean? If they continue to do what the trajectory that they're on, why not, right?
Here's the thing. It doesn't even matter if he's at Colorado, if he's anywhere else, if he somehow finds his way to the league. It's with what he's doing. If you're putting him in a situation where money is somewhat in the neighborhood of the same of where else it is, and whoever else is in the mix for whatever player, it's hard for me to believe that Deion's not the one winning those opportunities, because who wouldn't want to go play for him at this point? What player wouldn't want to go play for him right now?
No doubt. And he's bringing in talent. He's developing talent. He's developing the guys he's got. It's exciting.
I love how he's like low-key still calling out the players that were not able to make this roster.
He's like, you look at him in the eyes, you don't.
He's still talking about the guys like, yeah, I looked at him in the eyes and could tell, like, you ain't won. Like,
you don't know. You don't believe. You don't believe that you can win.
However many dudes, they know exactly, man, he's kind of talking about me right now.
Well, here's the deal. Like, there's something to be said about that. Like, I understand where he's coming from. Like, you can look in if someone's been in a situation for an extended period of time and they got used to that certain situation, it is hard to say, okay, we're going to flip the script and automatically believe that you're going to win.
Take it to the last 7-game losing streak you've had in baseball, which could literally be 1 week, right?
Right.
When things start to go wrong, you already know people start to look around and like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you get used to losing.
Here it goes again.
You don't believe that you can win.
Hard. Yeah.
And it's hard to get to the mindset. So I understand his point of saying, hey, we got to get these guys out.
Yeah.
Not saying that some of those guys couldn't change, but most of them, it's hard. It's not saying that they didn't want to. It's just hard to flip that script, especially at Colorado.
I'd say here's the thing, too. Like, when it comes to the change part, it's like, hey, if I got this guy here who doesn't believe that he can win, I got this guy here who's not here. If I look at them both, who's going to be able to bring the actual level of this program up if the talent is somewhere near the same?
Right.
There you go.
Right.
So enter the new guy. Thank you, but no thank you. I'll bring this guy in.
Yeah. And look, he's doing a great job. I'm looking forward to see it. The schedule ramps up here in a little bit, right? You get past Colorado State, and you got Oregon, then you got USC, then you got all these other schools. Yeah. You start to get to some of the big dogs, so we're going to see what happens there. The last little bit that I want to talk about before we get ready for Jake whenever he comes on the show, last Heineken headline is Alabama has made a change at quarterback. You know what this is going to bring up? It's going to stir up the hornet's nest a little bit, I think, too.
Well, that hornet's nest could look at it as simple as this. There was 2 picks thrown, they lost the game.
Right. Well, they're going to try to.
There's no comparison.
Right. Exactly.
There's 2 picks thrown, they lost the game. I don't want to hear it.
And this guy was not the starter last year who, whatever.
I don't want to hear it.
Tyler Buckner, quarterback 1 at Alabama. Now he is a transfer from Notre Dame. I think Milroe's got more talent than him. I think he's got more upside. I think Tyler's going to give them an opportunity to not make those 2 mistakes, not those 2 interceptions that lead to 10 points, and now you lose the game by 10 points, right? So I think that's what he's hoping. You're going to see the old school Alabama before they had the 4 or 5 first-round quarterbacks that are all starting quarterbacks in the NFL. You're going to see, hey, we're going to run the ball. Their offensive line needs to play better. Their defensive line needs to play better. You're not used to hearing that from Alabama. They're going to play better. They're going to start mauling people. They're going to start running the ball, play action, and throwing some deep shots and doing the things that you got so accustomed to seeing Alabama do prior to 4 first-round quarterbacks and starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But they're Alabama and they don't have a tough game this week, and so
it's a perfect time for them to do it.
Exactly, it'll give them a nice little. I believe that they're going to play Milroe too, though. I think he's going to come in for some certain packages.
I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done on the field.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. So we shall see. Lloyd, he's running a little late. Is that in there?
He does not have the email yet.
You forgot to send the email.
No, that's not the case. A little behind. You would see how the sausage is made. All of my emails I have Jake Crain's fucking phone number, and all of my emails go to his spam for some reason, so I'm letting him know. We have Fromm in right now, Frommer. And so I have to
he's in 40 minutes early.
I know. So Fromm, I know you can hear. So
I love that.
If you can disconnect and then I'll email you again to hop back in. I appreciate you being here on time and very prompt.
I love that.
But we have one more guest before you, and then we're going to get to Mississippi State. We've got to pump up LSU first. So if you want to comment on that, you're more than welcome.
Talk about pumping up.
Yeah. But other than that, we'll get. Yep. There he goes. Perfect. And now we will get to Fromm after he checks his spam. And I will let you know when he gets in the chat.
Jake Crain. Jake Crain.
From
Jake Crain.
Jake Crain.
There you go. There you go. All right, before we get to Jake, as he checks his spam and gets on here, last night, Justin Jefferson had 11 catches for 159 yards, right? Going up against Darius Slay, who is a stud, right? One of the better cornerbacks in the league. Not all of the catches were against Darius Slay. I think you're starting to see a lot of these teams in the NFL, the way that the NFL is and the way the offenses are now, they're moving their guy. You used to only see, hey, this guy plays one position.
That's the Joker move right now.
Yep. And so now you're getting that guy in a situation against mismatches. So it's not always, oh, he's going up against this one cornerback. You know, some cornerbacks follow, some don't. And so not all these catches were on Darius Slay, but he had some on Darius Slay. He had some very tough catches in traffic. Yeah. And he is in his fourth year in the NFL, he's got more catches and yards. He's got more production as in the wide receiver position than any Chicago Bears receiver ever in the history
of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. That's 100-plus years.
And he's the fastest to 5,000 yards.
Yep, and I think his teammate in college is probably going to beat him next year.
Very close.
You know, whenever they, catches up. So he is in. Jake Crain is in. Jake Crain from Crain & Co. Are we going to take a commercial break? We're just going to go straight to him. We go straight to him. I love that. Straight to him. Jake, man, I appreciate you coming in. Look, I apologize for Lloyd, our producer. I'm just joking. The internet's kind of always a weird thing.
For sure.
He is actually, Lloyd is spam though. Like he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Lloyd is like.
You can't kill spam.
He is kind of spammy.
I told him. I sent him a link, and I was like, I feel like an OnlyFans model because that's all I do is just send out links.
Do you know how they feel? Have you talked to them?
Golly, I hope you're making the type of money that they'll do.
No doubt.
What are you doing here with us?
It's an honor to be on. You guys do a great job. And yeah, it was for some reason it didn't pop up, and then I refreshed it one more time. I refreshed it like 3 times. And listen, I'm not Steve Jobs or like Zuckerberg by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to technology. So yeah, man, that's on me. I guess it just didn't refresh my thing, but excited to be here, man. I'm ready to party.
Yeah, man, me too. We're fired up. Obviously, we're gonna jump right into this. I don't want to keep you too long. You follow football as a whole, right? You're not just an LSU bias. You're not SEC bias. You follow college football as a whole.
No, the whole thing.
Yeah, which is what we want, right? We need to see that because we are a little biased on this show. LSU did not have a good showing against Florida State. I think I'm muted now. I'm muted. There we go. I think Florida State is a lot better than most people think. I think they are a playoff team. I think they're going to be a top 4 team the rest of the year. LSU struggled. They played better against Grambling. Now they go on the road to Mississippi State at 11 a.m. It feels like a point to prove, right? If you say, hey, we're going to watch this game, we're going to see the adjustments, and then we're going to get hyped up about them, or we're going to watch this game, we're going to be disappointed, and then everybody's going to panic again. What do you see from them, and what do you need to see from them this weekend to give you more confidence in LSU?
Yeah, well, first off, everybody's a fan of somebody. I mean, if you're not, then I've got questions about, I think the FBI should be investigating you. Yeah. That's a story for another day. But now we cover all of it, man, from coast to coast in college football and the NFL. But look, first off, you got to take your hat off to Florida State. I thought Florida State at halftime made the conscious decision that they were just going to get more physical than LSU and kind of punch LSU in the mouth and see how they answered. That's why you saw Florida State come out under center, got in some single back, was working into Benson early. And LSU struggled to run the ball the whole night, especially on the interior of that offensive line. I will say, and this is something that we communicate on social media, I was really disappointed by the game plan and then the execution or the lack of adjustments, and then the lack of execution by Jake Daniels. LSU, to me, and I know they had some routes that were down the field, but it never looked like they were the primary routes. LSU kind of reverted back to 2022 early LSU before halfway through the season, and Jake Daniels started utilizing the deep third of the field, and it changed LSU's season offensively. It looked to me like everything was short, everything was tight. They ran a bunch of comebacks early, and it was working to Malik Neighbors, who's the third down prince, but they didn't run a double move until the last drive of the game and hit a 70-yard touchdown. How does nobody go to Jake Daniels and say, listen, I don't care if you complete it or not. Just take a couple shots so these safeties will get out of the box and we can have a little more room to run the ball, or maybe some of these crossers aren't getting smoked right when they catch it because the safeties have no fear and the corners can play off a little bit. They can come up, show press, play press, bail. So that shocked me, the lack of adjustments and the game plan going in offensively. Then defensively with Harold Perkins and the spy. Look, I thought it was a smart game plan going in, but when you realize Jordan Travis was scrambling the throw and keeping his eyes downfield, and you're playing umbrella coverage on the top, you're spying a linebacker, that creates a hole in the intermediate game, and then you wonder why that giraffe Johnny Wilson is running around with nobody covering him the whole game. So I was very surprised to see the defense not really adjust and say, you know what, Harold, we're just going to play normal, we're going to send you on some blitzes. But I'll say this, LSU right now is a wounded animal. LSU is upset. You got your manhood challenge against a really good Florida State team, a Florida State team that is a legitimate playoff team, a Florida State team that's really good on both sides of the ball, and they have everything you need. They have everything in the recipe to make it a college football playoff cake. They've got everything if they can stay healthy. But LSU's pissed off right now. And if I know that and I can see that, I know they know that. Jane Daniels knows that. The most surprising part was that they knew that I knew that they knew that, and they still didn't. So when I look at LSU in this game going against Mississippi State, LSU's way more athletic on offense than Mississippi State is on defense. You have to take shots. It's like going to Sky Bar on Friday night in Auburn. If you're not taking shots, you're not going to get any action.
That's a great point.
How it goes down.
That's a great point.
So to me, yeah. But to me, when you take those shots too, you help the offensive line out and that run game out. Now, I was very disappointed in the interior of LSU's offensive line, but there's a big difference between having personnel that can grow and get better and then having South Carolina's offensive line.
Very good point.
Now, unlike Skybar and Auburn, I'm going to go ahead and ask, and I guess and throw it out there that it's probably not the smartest to take shots in the dark and just see what falls and what doesn't, right? On that Friday night, or Sunday night, I'm sorry, not Friday night, but that opener game against Auburn, against Florida State,
I think
they were not able to run the ball. I might have. I don't know. When they were not able to run the ball, do you see them trying to assert the running game early against Mississippi State to be able to open it up, to be able to throw it down the field?
Without a doubt. Well, balance keeps you on the beam, right? And I think a lot of times, people confuse. They just think balance is run to pass. Well, nobody's ever really 50-50. If you are, then you're trying too hard, and you probably weren't having that much success. Balance is the quarterback making the right decision with the look he's given, if he's given two plays, one that he can check to, or if you're running an RPO-style system. Now, LSU's not really running an RPO-style system. It's more of a pro-style with some air raid principles in the passing game. They mix it up. It's a mixed bag. Best way I can put it, if you were playing NCAA and you had to pick LSU's offense, it would be multiple. That's what it is. So when I think the overarching theme for LSU, though, is physicality. What's the difference? LSU should strike the fear of God in people when they get off the bus. That's who LSU is. LSU is not finesse. LSU is not, and Joe Burrow and them weren't finesse with Justin Jefferson. Some people confuse that. That's not who LSU is. LSU is, if we get the opportunity, we're going to knock your teeth through the back of your throat and then let our athletes on the outside turn it into a Globetrotters game. But LSU's got to get back to that because that sets the tone. And if you show physicality, you show dimension. You show your different dimensions, right? You're able to achieve balance. So yes, I think they're going to run it right at Mississippi State, not just to achieve balance, but to say, you know what? We're LSU. Nobody punks us. Ashton Kutcher isn't running out here with a bunch of cameras the third quarter of this game, I can promise you, and we're going to win it up front.
Very timely reference.
Couldn't agree more. You talk about punching him in the mouth. You talk about setting an example, and you start about setting the tone, right? I think a part of that is if you've ever played football, those tone setters on a team usually happen on the defensive side, right? I think everybody coming into this season thought LSU's defensive front seven was going to be significantly better, and particularly their front four. You get Mason Smith back from injury. You have Mekhi Wingo, who's a monster. You have all these guys that you brought in on the outside that are supposed to be super athletic and kind of old school LSU. And I was pretty disappointed in the way they performed up front on the defensive side of the football. You're facing a Mississippi State team that does not throw the ball 55 times anymore. They run the ball more than they throw the ball. So they're going to try to assert their dominance on the offensive side. And I think that the tone setter should be the defensive front. What do you say? What do you see on the defensive side from LSU, especially the front four?
Yeah, well, I mean, you obviously want it on both sides, right? But you're 100% correct. Defense. That's why one of the main reasons that people want to go, when they win the toss, they defer. They want the defense to go out there and set the tone, set the physical tone. And look, Mississippi State pulled a Harvey Dent. Like one side, oh, nice-looking lawyer's going to save Gotham. Now turn it on this side, oh, my God, half his face is missing, and he's flipping a coin that's heads on both sides. So they do it 17 times last week. You can tell there is a defensive head coach, a guy who's a defensive coordinator now, as the head coach of Mississippi State, and rest in peace, Mike Leach. We loved having him on Crain and Company. He's a hell of a guy, and we miss him all the time. But I think it helps out Mississippi State in the long run for that balance argument that I made earlier, because nobody was more predictable than Mississippi State was over the past couple of years. And for some reason, LSU was one of the few teams that stuck around in man for a long time against Mississippi State. Don't get it. Don't understand that one. That's what they want you to do. That's why they run all these rub routes and do all these things to try and catch you in man and make you have to wiggle your way out of it. But I think what you're going to see, Mason Smith being back is huge, obviously. Mason Smith makes everybody better. You know who you have to double. The thing that makes Mason Smith the most dangerous to me is not just his ability to stuff the run, right? It's that he's such a problem in the pass rush from the interior. Not saying he's Jalen Carter. Nobody's Jalen Carter. But Mason Smith has a chance to have a very similar impact because he causes problems in the middle of the line of scrimmage against the pass. Which again, you don't have to be a geometry major to realize the fastest point between A to B is a straight line. And you can go to a straight line to the quarterback at the 3 tap in the nose a lot quicker than you can on the outside. But yeah, there are no excuses. LSU's got more aliens in Area 50 running around on that defensive front.
Not
they
Mexico.
Be kicking people's ass on the red. Yeah, say that again?
I said not in Mexico. Coach, we got 2.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know. That one just looked like they just stole it out of George Lucas's collection.
That's what I said. That's what I said. We're not getting into that. But do you? Okay, so we
talked. Like a chia pet.
Yeah, they're paper mache aliens. Paper mache aliens. What they are. They built them in the lab.
I'm waiting for my project.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pour water on it, the grass grows out, and Miles eats it.
Yeah, no doubt. We talked about Mississippi State running the football. You talk about how dominant LSU's front four can be. Another weakness that I think that LSU has shown defensively, and I think that it's not because of talent. I think it's more because of trying to figure out systems and trying to make.
That's what you got to watch out for, especially when they've been going in the well a lot, and you've got DBs with zone eyes there at safety that are playing the run heavy. Then all of a sudden they catch you with your pants down with a tight end, running up the seam and hit a big play. I think Mississippi State's going to try and slow play this, believe it or not, because they know overall LSU has better athletes than they do. When I look at LSU's secondary, that was a question you heard Brian Kelly talk about in the preseason. J.K. getting hurt, that was tough. That was a tough break for this secondary. They're not super deep. They're inexperienced, but there is some talent there. It's just not experienced talent. But in this game, I would not be surprised if you saw Mississippi State getting some heavy personnel, stay in heavy personnel, and try and wear them out, and then take their shots over the top, throw their digs, run their sticks routes on 3rd and 6. That's the type of game I think we're going to see.
So in your mind, through 2 weeks, we've seen their imperfections. We've seen the things that they are somewhat good at and that they've done well so far. I won't say the perfect day, but a successful day for LSU in your mind would look like what tomorrow?
I think if they're attacking every third of the field, obviously it starts with physicality. I hate to keep going back to this, but this is football. I mean, if we were talking about UFC, it'd be the same thing. It's setting the tone up front. It's saying that, hey, don't forget we are LSU and we reserve the right to kick your ass up front at any point in time. That, to me, that's controlling the game, controlling the tempo, setting the tone and controlling the tone. That's the first thing. The second thing is, once you control the tone and you show balance, taking your shots and attacking the deep third. Don't play it conservative and short. Even if the run game's working, run that play action. Jaden, let that arrow fly, right? Don't be afraid to let the arrow fly from an offensive standpoint. And then in the red zone, finishing drives. That's what killed them the most against Florida State early when they were trying to grab momentum. You ran that wheel route, first play of the game, hit a big play down the field, get inside the 10, and then get shoved in a locker in the hallway in the high school in front of all the cheerleaders. So finishing drives at the end, defensively, to me, it's getting Mississippi State off schedule, not letting them get into 2nd and 6, not even letting them get into 2nd and 7. Get them back in predictable downs and turn them into the old Mississippi State. 3rd and 9, we know what you're doing. 3rd and 7, we know what you're doing. And let those defensive linemen go eat. And listen, The only way Harold Perkins is a spy this weekend is if Will Rogers working for the Russians, and he's not. Let Harold Perkins go. They just did a bio doc this summer on him called Oppenheimer. Let him play the position normal, and then send him. For the love of God, send him.
We're called the Russians for the wall. But you talked about LSU's offense and a little bit of predictability. A part of that was Mason Taylor. If they don't have Mason Taylor going into this weekend's game, he was listed as probable to doubtful, which is a new thing that we're doing apparently at LSU.
Doubtful.
Probably doubtful. How does that change LSU's game plan? Because you've seen what they've done. Obviously, you're a football guy. You've seen like the RPO, little quick dip to him. If he's not in the lineup, how does that change LSU's, offensive perspective?
Well, I always say the hardest position to recruit, to get quality guys, to me, is tight end on offense and it's nickel on defense. Why? Because there's not a lot of guys out there that can play tight end, that can block effectively, that can run routes effectively, and catch the ball. There's not a lot of guys at nickel that can be heavy against the run, be a good tackler in space, and guard a slot receiver. So whenever you lose I'm not going to say elite yet. He's trending toward that. Tight end with Mason, it is huge. That's the toughest matchup, especially in the red zone, right? We just call it go get an offensive rebound. I can have a linebacker that may be really fast, but if you've got this monster at tight end, he's just going to box him out and go up and get the ball. If I got a linebacker that's bigger, that can bang with him a little bit, but he can't run, he's going to outrun him. So it's the ultimate matchup. He's your security blanket. Mm-hmm. We hear that all the time. LSU has two security blankets, especially on third down. Malik Neighbors on the outside and Mason Taylor on the inside. And if you take one of those away, you don't have to be, Bill Nye the science guy to figure out where they're going on third down and medium to third down and long. So it is a big loss. You get Zach Arnett, who's a defensive-minded guy. They're going to find ways to try and take Malik Neighbors out of this game and make other players step up. That's why that run game is so important. But not having the ability to throw that pop pass off the run game when it's working to Mason Taylor, that's going to cause some problems. But if you can line up and average 3.5, 4 yards a carry, that takes a lot of the worry out of it. But Jaden's legs, they're a great equalizer now. Don't forget that. And Jaden needs to scramble to throw, not just scramble to run, just like Jordan Travis did to LSU week 1.
We don't talk about that.
Before we go to, I want to dabble in the Alabama quarterback change. I want to dabble in a couple other things. Before I ask those questions to you, we are degenerates. We like to bet. We like to gamble.
We like to lose.
I do well in college. I do well in college football. I do terrible in the NFL. The line is now up to 10 with LSU, right? Do you see LSU covering 10? And do you see them, or do you like the over? What the over is 54. The line is 10. What do you like?
It's a teaser.
There's so many other good bets on the board. I'm just staying away. Like I'm
give us your good bets.
Over the under. I'm all over the under. I got Georgia, South Carolina under at 55.5. I mean, I was happier than a fat kid in a sugar factory when I seen that. I like the under in the Tennessee-Florida game.
Yes, I do too.
58.5. Yeah, let's play a game called Show It To Me. I don't believe you. So look, in this game, -9. I think LSU's going to win by 10 or more. But if I'm sitting here and betting to win money, not just betting because I love one team and I'm always going to bet on them, I would probably lean toward, honestly, LSU I would lay the points on LSU on the road, which I never do. I just don't think Mississippi State is athletic enough, even without Mason Taylor on defense. If LSU's game plan isn't just, hey, short, let's go long last drive of the game, then I think they can put up some serious points. I think they're going to try to get back to physicality, and I think they're pissed off. But I'm all over that Georgia under. I got Colorado at -23.5. Jay Norvell coming out and saying that.
I know. I wanted to put the spread. I wanted to do alternate spread to 30, and Lloyd's like, okay, now I think you're doing too much. But I just think they're going to win by 100 points. Like, it's just, you shouldn't have done that.
Well, look, they're not going to stop scoring now. If you were worried about a backdoor cover by Colorado State because Colorado sat on the ball, you don't have to worry about that now. I tell you another one. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm putting the math and the science together, how in the hell Florida State's only a 24.5-point favorite against Boston College. I've watched Boston College each week. Not a good situation.
Why?
It's a bad time, Bob.
Yeah.
That's tough. They don't have Matt Ryan. They don't have Matt Ryan over there.
The real
anymore.
question is
Why are you watching that game?
I mean, you have to have like a 4-box of games going or something, huh?
Oh, dude, I got more boxes than Amazon. Are you kidding? YouTube TV has that grid going on now. I mean, my wife, it was funny, last Saturday night, after Auburn and Cal got done at like 2 in the morning, because I'll never do that to me again on free. I got in bed and she was like, you realize we both sat in the living room for 8 hours today and we didn't say a word to each other. I was like, yeah. I was in like a football coma. I got the YouTube TV grid box. I've got the phone on a game. I've got the laptop. I'm like the architect from The Matrix when Neo walks in with all those TVs. Except I don't have a cool white suit like that. I need to get one.
We need to get you one.
We do need to get you one. You probably
Labor
that's how
Day
you
is
should
here,
watch
though.
football from here on out with the glasses and everything.
Like the righteous gemstones.
doubt.
That's what I should get.
No doubt. Alabama made a change at quarterback, right? I think that you had Milroe go out there. He's super athletic. You're bringing in Tyler Buchner. To me, this is a move to say, hey, listen, we didn't like the 2 interceptions that led to 10 points. We didn't like some of the decisions you made. We like your athleticism. We like your upside. I think there's going to be room for him to get on the field. Tyler Buchner seems like, hey, you're going to control. You're not going to make the mistakes. We're going to go to old school Alabama and turn around, hand it over, be physical, and let you make the mistakes offensively. What do you feel about this move? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's permanent? Or do you think Milroe has a shot to come back?
I really think Jada has a shot to come back. This just feels like, the second wife that you played it safe after you married the blackjack dealer on the cruise, like for the first one. Here's what I think. Yeah, when I look at Jalen Milroe, what I don't understand is, okay, you're transitioning philosophically and schematically from what you were RPO-style offense that you were running with Bryce Young back to the old Bama bully ball of the day. You haven't recruited for that, right? Not that Ty Simpson can't do it down the road, but you really haven't recruited for that. You bring in Tyler Buchner from the portal, who has some experience, but it's not great experience. I mean, most of his experience was throwing interceptions to Stephon Gilmore's little brother at Marshall. So you watched all fall camp, Jalen Milroe decide where he's going to throw the ball before the ball is snapped on these pro-style plays. And you still went with them. And instead of saying, you know what, we're transitioning this offense, but we need to adjust to our personnel this year and play to his strengths, you still stick with it. So then when he looks like he did it all through fall camp, then you replace him with the guy he beat out in fall camp to run the exact same offense. I think Tyler Buchner is somewhat of a safe play. We'll see. We don't know yet. He was somewhat turnover prone last year in his limited experience, but he's obviously more familiar with Tommy Rees, who was his offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. But I just don't understand why you don't tailor that offense more to Jalen Milroe's strengths and then give him another year to go ahead and get totally comfortable with this new schematic and philosophical change you're doing offensively, right? But Jalen Milroe's not the only problem that Alabama has, right? But why were there not more quarterback design runs? Why were you guys running RPOs where he was able to keep it off the zone read and then flip it to Jermaine Burton for a first down, and then you go back and try and turn him into Drew Brees? Like, I think there's a lot of blame to go around here. I don't know if Tyler Buchner's the answer. I think South Florida's the perfect opponent, right? They're bad enough where your personnel should out-athlete them, but they're good enough where you still got to kind of find out and execute. So we'll see. I think Jalen Milroe's going to end up being the quarterback again because I don't trust Tyler Buchner. I don't think he's an elaborate enough thrower. And if Bama's still lined up and pound the ball, maybe that Bama, South Florida under 63 may be the way to go, speaking about being into Jet.
At what point does you start looking at the offensive coordinator and say, hey, listen, this is your first real gig outside of Notre Dame. You're going to come here. You're going to a different situation. You have different athletes, and the offense isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. At what point do they start looking at him and say, you know what? I don't know if he's the right guy.
Well, look, I mean, this is Nick Saban. Nick Saban, this is his offense. Like, make no mistake. Like, Nick Saban knows exactly what's going on. Tommy Rees had to change it. When you go be the OC at Alabama, you have to change your terminology into their terminology. Nick Saban's got his fingerprints all over this thing, so he knows. When it comes to the OC, obviously, right? I mean, look, Alabama with Bryce Young, and then we're breaking records left and right, and everybody hated Bill O'Brien. Like, a lot of it, to me, the play calling was pretty good, I thought. Like, from a standpoint of, if you're going to run this style of offense, the judgment of personnel is the problem. And obviously, the personnel you have out there typically dictates the play call. So I know Nick Saban wants to get back to playing bully ball. But here's the problem, guys. When Alabama was able to put Gingerbread Man and the Lollipop Guild out there at quarterback and still win national championships, they had a monopoly on the offensive line and the defensive line. Alabama was so much better than everybody else up front. They could just line up and say, okay, 12 personnel, counter, power, insert. You guys suck. We win again. Play action. You have to play man. That's the only way you'll stop us in the run by loading the box. Touchdown, Julio Jones. Then defensively, it didn't matter what type of system you ran on offense, whether it was air raid or triple option. They were just mauling you because they had the Avenger collection up front. They don't have that anymore. And since you don't have that, you can't just throw, a paper bag out there at certain positions and say, just don't blow it. So that's why I'm still nervy about this transition, fellas. Yeah. And if you look at that Texas game, Quinn Ewers' jersey was as clean when he left Bryant-Denny as when he walked into Bryant-Denny. And that says a lot as well.
No doubt. You win and you lose by the front, both fronts, defensive and offensive. That's how you build your team. You build it inside out, without a doubt. And that, to your point, that is exactly what I feel like. And look, Nick Saban said as much today or yesterday on the show with Pat McAfee. Saying, hey, listen, we have to get better up front, like both sides of the ball. We know that. They're going to do it. I have no doubt that they are going to do that. Look, I kept you a lot longer than I thought I was going to keep you, but this is great. I needed this.
Yeah, so did my wife.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I appreciate you. Before I let you go, you gave us some bets. Give us your top two that we need to go home with and say, this is – I'm not saying the L word. I'm not saying the L word,
dare.
But give us top two that you're very confident in, and then we can go home and bet all the money and then bet on you.
L's for love.
That's it.
Let me. Here are my two favorites.
There you go.
I'm in love with this Georgia South Carolina under. I'm just in love with it, especially with the new clock rules. Right? I want to take it out on an expensive dinner. Right? I want to take it to a movie. I want to hang out with it. I want to be friends with it, and then maybe possibly more if I play my cards right. So I like it under 54.5. And the two others that I like the most, I love the under in the I don't like cheering for unders. I don't. But I also want to make money.
Fun.
So when I look at Tennessee and Florida, right, under 58.5, man, I think Florida's been trying to sit on the ball. That's a great one. But there's one that I'm looking at.
Okay.
That's just the numbers. I'm like Rain Man when he sits down at the blackjack
table. Here we go. I like this.
There's one I'm just staring at that I really, 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 really like a lot, and that's Duke minus 18.5 at home against Northwestern. I mean, look, Northwestern right now, it's what did Marty Huggins say on the campaign? You better bring your brooms because it's a mess. And we're not turning the lights off and putting masks on Saturday. This is a football game. Mike Elko and them are super confident. I like what Riley Leonard's doing. Shout out to the 251. Shout out to Fairhope. Give me Duke minus 18.5. And don't think you'd be crazy to take the under. Iowa State, Ohio, not a lot of points.
Big
Gamble
under.
On the players that gamble.
Big under weekend. Big under weekend.
Must be overcast.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it. Right? I hate to love it, but I do.
Hey, listen, you like money. I like money too. So I'm gonna ride on some of these.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, if we lose, I'll blame you. If we win, I'll give you all the credit. How about that?
Either way,
you're the quarterback.
We just blame Lloyd.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a way better idea.
I've been addicted to unders all year for some reason. I think because after the clock changed, I've just been on unders all year.
Yeah, that's okay.
For sure. Well, look at the NFL, man. It's been under season. It's early, right? And the refs are going to start taking. You're about to see a lot more defensive penalties in the NFL. Just get ready. They know how to do it.
Jake,
Fantasy football runs the league.
Yeah. Jake, I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate your time. As always, we'll have you on throughout the course of football season. Enjoy this weekend. I hope we win all the money, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Me too. All the money. I just want to get like one of those machines that they put honey all over you and just shoot $100 bills.
And let it stick to you. I like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No, y'all do a great job, man. It's always fun
that
watch
sounds
you
like
guys
an Auburn
coming
thing.
on, chopping it up. It's a great time. Y'all be good.
All right, man. You too. Appreciate you.
See ya.
Great. A lot of insight. It's good. I hope the bets hit. I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna see what happens.
I put in a 4-team teaser on the under.
I'm not gonna, and I'm not. Look, my units are gonna be a little different than they normally are. I'm going to.
Why?
Well, because I'm trying to. I don't trust. I
thought Saturdays were your day. Saturdays.
Yeah. Well, these aren't my bets. These are his bets. I've already put my bets in. That I like the units that I've put in. But for him, I don't know. Maybe I don't know his success rate as a college football bettor. Seems like he would be pretty decent because he knows a little bit about it. So this is my test ride and just see. And then he may start getting some text messages from me every weekend.
I think you should put the big units on this one and kind of temper your Sundays a little bit, and then
Yeah, that's something.
Right.
I think that's where you should go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That's just
Dude, betting the NFL is it's a hobby. You can't not do it. I've never.
No, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be like it's gonna be. I'm gonna be more responsible about
We're
my
still
betting.
searching for that very successful NFL bettor. If you feel like it, feel free to walk
Apparently,
in.
Peter Burns said he's better at NFL than college. And so,
But what's that mean? We need some rates on this.
I mean, you have to someone to win money, and like as a bettor, you have to 57% or 50 something like it. That'd be over 55%, I think, for you to say, okay, like this guy.
If you're 56.5%, you are a tout.
Right? Yeah. So, I'm definitely not that.
What do you if you're 54%?
Then you're not.
What do you?
You're an above average bettor.
You got to have a second job.
Yeah.
Or a third job in some people's cases.
Yeah. Oh, you're acting like you have 3? You have 2.
Gambling's my third.
Oh, that's not a job.
Oh.
It's not a job.
Did you see his bet slip? I don't know.
When it starts paying bills, it's a job. It's just sitting in there right now.
I know. I'm scared of the tax man.
Well, hang on. You don't have enough to get taxed.
Yet.
That's what I mean. Yet. Always like having Jake on there. He's his analogies are great.
There's something.
He brings energy. Listen, we always say if you're going to come on the show, if you're going to be part of the show, just bring your personality. I don't care what that personality is. Just make sure it's yours and bring it and be entertaining. And he does that, and he has good insight. We enjoy having him on. Our next guest is going to talk a lot more about Mississippi State. We had a lot of conversation about LSU with Jake. Our next guest comes on in 7 minutes. Justin Frommer from 247 covering Mississippi State. Looking forward to seeing what the Mississippi State side is feeling about this game. And see what he has to say. Like I said, a lot of these beat writers are a little more negative towards their home team or teams they cover. Not negative, but more like to point out the deficiencies more so than why they're going to win games. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But we have 7 minutes. 7 minutes to talk and hang out about anything before he gets on. What do y'all want to talk about? We got a lot of action coming here in Cards and Culture today. A lot of sales going on.
Got some bodies in here.
Some bodies. Got conversations going. Lloyd's working on the computer right now, which is great.
I don't think he's working.
That.
Who knows what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing. He's squinting right now. That's what he's doing.
I have to resend the link.
He's in the search bar.
Oh, okay. So he's working. He's working, sort of.
I'm just gonna. I don't know how forwarding works, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, you just forward.
I know, but I'm just saying the whole. I just rather I guess I'm used to I would just rather retweet it to him, but email is email and it's not going anywhere. So here we are.
Well, forward is like a retweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I always feel like it's a little disrespectful to get a forwarded email.
It's not disrespectful.
Not?
We've had conversations today a few times about being disrespectful and being not. I think you have the wrong idea about being disrespectful towards something.
I just like to respect everybody.
Well, I think that disrespectful is I think there's a clear-cut line
levels
about being
to
disrespectful and about just getting information, and this is not disrespectful.
Hey, we worked through it. We got it. What I wanted to happen happened. I didn't have to do anything.
That's all he really cares about.
He didn't want to have to do anything is what happened.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He just didn't have to do anything.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
I just gave you a word salad and you figured it out.
What do y'all think about his bets this weekend?
I love the underplay.
I know you're a big under this week.
I like the Duke bet that he put out there.
I like the Duke bet.
I just don't want to watch the Duke game.
I'm going to take the under of South Carolina. I do like Duke. Duke's actually a pretty good product on the football field.
As many unders as he threw out there, it makes me feel like, you remember when you used to take Scantron tests and you kept answering C and you're just like, all right, there's just no way there's 6 C's in a row.
Who came out and said, hey, you know what, if you're going to guess, just guess C? That came out. There's some information on that. Who comes up with that? Is that even a thing?
I don't know.
No.
But I think we all followed
Big Scantron?
it. I did follow it. If
Oh,
I was going to
everybody
guess,
does
I
think we all followed it, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
C for Courtney. That's what I always did. I was like, all right, if I'm struggling.
But to your point, if I had 5 in a row,
You're
I
wait,
was
if you had 5 in a row and then you get to that 6th question and you were damn sure it was C, you was like, one of these got to change.
I gotta go check this out. Like,
one of these got to change. Ain't no way.
There's no way that
go back
there's
to
this
the
many
fourth one
C's.
because I think the fourth one I kind of like B, so let me go ahead and throw a B in there.
Take it away from my C theory.
I mean,
I've had I haven't had it, but I've seen it like online where teachers have gone the same letter the entire way down just to see as like a psychology experiment. Like this is going to be all of them are right.
That's cruel.
No,
That's
but they wouldn't count it as an actual test grade. They'd be like, this is a quiz, 25 questions, whatever, and it's like every answer was C. And it's like I just want to see how many of y'all change your mind. Like you can see the erasure marks on it, and it's like you're not very confident, are you? Like, no, I was guessing. And then I was guessing C,
or
and
you
now I
could
don't
be
feel
confident,
good.
but then you see like this is
Exactly. Like, how much do you know?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think it's impressive.
Nobody's going to fly through that thing and be like, yep, 100% all C's.
Nailed it.
And just walk out.
Yeah.
I was a big
that.
econ guesser. That's what I was. I didn't.
Oh, man.
I could convince myself any
answer was
any
correct.
answer was
That's what
right.
econ is.
Yeah, I know.
That's why the stock market exists. It's like, oh, it's like this.
Whatever
no, it's like
makes
this.
sense. And
We should
there
buy
was a lot
stocks
of-
and bonds.
There was a lot of. I used to always hate the ones. Hey, pick the one that makes the most sense. Oh no, listen.
Or pick all that apply. I'm like,
You're
oh my
asking the
God.
wrong. I'll make all of them apply. Don't do that.
Now I gotta pick. Now I gotta pick multiple
Always.
answers.
Yeah.
I can only pick one right
The
answer.
sky is orange. Pick the one that's the most applies.
Oh, I got to the point where I was writing out my answers on the side of a multiple choice. I was like, wait, I picked this because, and I would start like explaining my answer. Like, bro, nobody reads that.
At that
It's like,
point, I
I'm just
definitely
letting y'all
wouldn't do
know
that, no.
what I was thinking.
I hope you didn't do that on Scantron. That shit was not gonna read.
That's what I was hoping. You get to redo.
Oof.
Always scheming, dude. You're always scheming. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. What
I
do y'all-
did.
where y'all
I was
watching- where
supposed
y'all
to go
watching the
take
game?
our finals in graduate school. I schemed out of the last day. I was like, I need a day. And they gave
nice.
it to me.
Nice.
I just showed up looking real bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna go there.
don't do it. Don't
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna say that.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna
Where
leave it
y'all
alone.
Where y'all watching the football game? This
I don't know.
weekend?
Your house.
I'm not gonna be there at the beginning of the game, but I'll be there.
I'll set it up for you.
I haven't made up my mind yet.
You're gonna put my TV up? I still haven't done that yet.
I thought you did that already.
Well, I can't do it. I can't physically
You need
grab
help.
this TV by myself and put it up. It's not gonna happen. It's too big.
Wow.
Too big. Oh, nowadays, you go to Walmart, you can get these big ass TVs for a lot cheaper.
Wow.
Ain't that expensive? I can promise.
Spread your arms again.
It'll go up, or it'll go out probably in about 2 years, but it's cheap enough.
Let's get the neighbor in there. Huh?
What neighbor?
What? I mean,
Don't
come
you
on.
live with somebody?
My wife. That's not.
It's not gonna happen.
That's not a good idea.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh, no, I heard the phone call.
I can take it. I just need.
That's
something
a fight
taken-
for the next
I
week.
have,
It's just
I
not
have
gonna
the
happen.
bracket. Everything's up. The TV's already up, like the old TV. I just gotta take it off.
I'm
Take the
offering my
brackets off of it,
services.
put it in the back of the new one, and put it up. And it's the easiest thing. I just can't carry it. I can do it. I just can't pick it up by myself.
I'm
So,
here. I'm available.
Okay. All right.
You just don't want me to help. You don't
I'll
want me
take-
there.
No, I'll take you up on.
Terrified
we're
of
gonna
me.
do it today. We can't do it on Saturday. I gotta do it today. Saturday, because I want to walk to my house, turn key, turn the TV on, work.
Yeah, and you'll be in my bed.
Why would you be walking to
What?
your house on Saturday? Whoa.
I told you that's where I slept when I babysat. Oh, to the doggo.
Context first,
Yeah,
please.
weirdo. No, I'm walking into my house.
You
I'm
said
not
you
gonna
want to
be
walk to your house. So
into,
what
my,
would you do?
into my house. I'm walking into my house. I'm gonna miss the first quarter from my house, but I'm gonna be watching it, obviously. But I'm looking forward to it.
Why are you missing the first quarter?
I have some prior engagements that I had committed to that I'm
Golf?
going to do.
Another wedding.
And I got to go there and I'm gonna watch
Unbelievable.
it there for a quarter, and then I'm leaving. You know, so that's it. That's where I'm watching it. Is Tyler in there? I mean, Justin.
He is.
Perfect.
Tyler.
Well, I
Buckner.
it was right under my headlines.
He's here.
All right. Let's bring him on. No commercials.
Yeah, no
This is
commercial.
Feel
It's
Good
a
Friday. We're
Yeah,
going right
exactly.
there.
We're going straight
Justin
into
Frommer from Mississippi State reporter for 247 Sports.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Long time listener, first time caller. Justin, man, appreciate you coming on the show. Big game this weekend, obviously SEC opener for both teams. LSU is going to Ole Miss. LSU is 5-0 on the road at Ole Miss in early games. LSU had a tough game against Florida State. Mississippi State's kind of in this big transition. What can we expect as LSU fans and as football fans to see from Mississippi State, and how are they going to attack LSU this weekend, or try to?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. You sound great.
Perfect. I think the second half of what you saw in Arizona last Saturday, Mississippi State's game against Arizona, is what you're not going to see against LSU. This whole talk about Mississippi State wanting to dominate the line of scrimmage now and run the ball. a little bit over-exaggerated. I know that's what the numbers say and what the stats say right now, but the talk throughout fall camp and the talk from offensive coordinator Kevin Barbe has been, we want to be explosive. And if that means it's coming from the running game, then that's what they're going to do. If it's going to come from the passing game, that's what they're going to do. Early in that game against Arizona, I mean, the offensive line returning 4 starters, they were moving people in the trenches. And at one point in the first quarter, they were, I think, gaining over 6-7 yards of carry. That got down to a little under 5 by halftime, and it really just stopped working altogether in the second half. And Zach Arnett and Kevin Barbe just did not adjust to that. And 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6s, and we're still running the ball, thinking it was working, and it wasn't. They both owned up to that during the week leading into this game. Will Rogers is not going to have a game like that again, where he only throws 17 passes. So. We're not going to see, a Mike Leach air raid, but I would expect to see more balance and more throwing from Mississippi State against LSU, especially knowing the struggles that LSU secondary have had in the first 2 games.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that because they're trying to change the offense as far as, hey, this is what we're going to be, or is it because, hey, this is what fits to the game plan of what we've seen LSU's weaknesses be on defense? Because LSU coming into the year, even right now, everybody looks at their defense and say, oh, the strength of that defense is the front four. They have more depth than any other position. They have more talent there. The secondary has been the big question mark, and they've given up some big plays. And so is it because Mississippi State's changing the offense, or is it because this is what the game plan calls for?
Yeah, I think it just what we'll see Saturday is Mississippi State's going to go with what's working. If they're able to move, this big LSU defensive line and linebackers out of the way and create holes for Woody Marks as they have these first 2 games. We could see them stick with the run and see less of Will Rogers. But there's just too much speed and too much talent at the wide receiver position, which in terms of what we've seen, that group really hasn't been healthy these first 2 weeks. Xavion Thomas, the big punt return threat and speedster wide receiver, hasn't been healthy, didn't play the first week, and was used as a decoy against Arizona. So he should be regaining his health. Tulu Griffin, again, another guy who hasn't been fully healthy, but he had a big game against Arizona. So I expect to see more efforts from the offense to get these guys the ball. But they're not going to abandon what's also worked to this point in the season, which is Woody Marks running the ball. So I think, like I said, more balance, and if running is working, I think they're going to stick with that. If Will Rogers is having a vintage Will Rogers game where he's throwing the ball around the field and able to take these nickel dime type passes and work his way down the field, they're going to stick with that while also maybe taking some shots deep if those get open as well.
Obviously much better last week. 2 weeks ago, it was very obvious LSU struggled to really get the running game going. Throughout history, it's been kind of the fly under the radar, turned into a star in the league. Is there another Chris Jones, Fletcher Cox type at Mississippi State right now that we should be expecting to play on that defensive line this week?
I think the name at the beginning of the season that people expected to take a big jump was Jaden Crumedy. He missed the first 8 games, I believe, last year, and then came back and had almost the same amount of sacks or half the sacks that the rest of the team had in his time back at the end of last season. But so far in these first 2 weeks, Nathan Pickering at nose tackle has really been disruptive in the middle of the defensive line. But most of the pressure and the run fits that Mississippi State's defense has been getting have come from their two linebackers, senior linebackers, Jet Johnson and Bookie Watson, coming up and filling those gaps and taking up the space that these linemen have eaten up to get tackles for loss, short gains, and even last week interceptions. Jet Johnson had 2 and Bookie Watson had 1. So they've really been doing it all for Mississippi State's defense in the middle there.
Let's flip the script a little bit. We talked about Mississippi State. We talked about what they're going to try to do and how they're going to try to attack LSU. The other side, right? You obviously cover Mississippi State. What would you be worried about from LSU? Like, what is something that LSU does or that causes concerns for you as a Mississippi State fan or someone who's covering Mississippi State that could maybe cause them some issues and make this a long day in Starkville?
Sure. Sure, I'd say two areas. One being the secondary, and that's one thing that Zach Arnett has been worried about since fall camp. Just the fact that entire group is revamped. 4 new starters. Only one of them has had, I guess, starting experience in their position. Marcus Banks, who played cornerback in years past in Alabama, transferred and moved over to safety this year. But again, one starter out of 5 returning from last year, and you lose a first-round pick in Emmanuel Ford. So they've really had to get that group up to speed as quickly as possible. And with the arm talent that Jaden Daniels has and the receivers he has on the outside, I can see that being an area where there's cause from concern from the Mississippi State fan base and coaches. And then another area is Daniels' running ability. We saw Jaden Delora last week from Arizona be able to escape the pocket and pick up 10, 11, 12 yards on runs and really extend plays. And Zach Arnett really went into detail this week about how much really goes into trying to stop a quarterback that has mobility. Mississippi State could drop back into zone coverage to help rally to the ball when Daniels gets out of the pocket, but that's going to leave a lot of throwing lanes out in the secondary. They can go man-to-man to help with the coverage, but then that will leave more running lanes for Daniels, or they can try a spy, but that will take away from the pass rush. So there's a lot of nuances that goes into stop a guy as diverse and has a lot of ability as Jaden Daniels, and I think that's ultimately what worries Mississippi State's coaches the most, because we saw what he did against the defense last year, running for almost 100 yards and a touchdown.
I'm going to buck back a little bit to what you said. I keep hearing this thing about Mississippi State's going to throw the football more, but I just looked at, obviously, from the air raid where Will Rogers in the first 2 games had over 100 attempts, and now you're sitting at almost 50. And if you look at the total pass attempts from this year and rushing attempts, he has 3 more passing attempts than Marks has rushing attempts. What is the narrative? Why is this narrative changing to me where it feels like Mississippi State is pushing this thing to where it feels like, hey, we're going to throw the football in this game? I know you look at LSU's defensive back room maybe a little bit, but it just feels like that's not what the consensus is. When you see what's on tape, it feels like it's a lot of we're going to run zone scheme, and when you have a defensive coordinator take over as your head coach, this is kind of what it feels like Mississippi State is. But correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Ultimately, coming out of that Arizona game, Zach Arnett and Kevin Garvey both said in the second half they were just too conservative. And that sort of, I think, plays into this notion that Mississippi State's now this running team. They're not air raid. They're not going to throw 30, 40 times. At least that's the expectation. But I don't think you'll see another game this year where Will Rogers throws less than 20 passes. I would be surprised personally. I think the general number they're looking for. I wrote in a mailbag that we had on the website this week. Someone asked what number of passes Will Rogers should be throwing. To not have the entire game on his shoulders, but to still make a big impact. And I think a college team gets roughly around 60, 65 plays in a game now. So I would say if Will Rogers is passing effectively for 25 to 30 plays a game, I think that's the general number that they're going to be looking for. And I'd be looking for this Saturday.
I feel like 25-30 is a pretty reasonable number if he's going to do that. Now, obviously, the score depends a lot on that. Like if they're winning the football, if they're winning the game, they're probably going to run the ball a lot more. If they're losing the game, they're behind, they need to chase points. You're going to see more passing attempts. Has this affected Will Rogers at all? Because he came there to be that guy to sling the rock and be that quarterback, and he had a lot of hype going into last year, and he had a total control of it.
Staring down records.
Has he been frustrated with that?
He definitely sounded a little frustrated after the game last Saturday, but I think that's generally just in terms of the fact that the defense got 5 turnovers in that game, and Mississippi State scored twice off of them. So more of in terms of just not capitalizing, the offense not capitalizing off those opportunities would be where the most frustration was. We just got done talking to Tim Tebow because SEC Nation's in town this weekend. I asked him, you were obviously a quarterback, probably had some instances during his career where the game plan didn't play out how he expected. He didn't have the ball in his hands as much as he expected. What would Will Rogers be thinking? And he sort of said that, in his conversation with Rogers sort of gave a notion to what Mike Leach would say in terms of just think about the next play and the next game. And that's sort of what Will Rogers is. He's experienced, he's a gamer, and I think ultimately he just cares about winning. So whatever. He may be frustrated that he only threw 17 times, but ultimately I think he cares more about a win than his stats.
You would hope so.
Right. But my other concern, especially on the Will Rogers front, is that you've been bringing in almost a dual quarterback system where you're bringing a running quarterback. So it feels like that's kind of what the expectation is going into this game. if you're an LSU defense, what are you expecting to see from their side of the ball when you have a Harold Perkins who is obviously great at coming off the edge, Will Rogers, a statue that, is your prototypical drop-back passer, and then you have another quarterback that is brought in to run the ball. What's your concerns on the defensive front aside from if you get into a situation where you have to throw the ball a little bit?
Yeah, so two things that are in there. I think the media here is very confused and I guess are still trying to figure out how Mississippi State is using Mike Wright, obviously the transfer quarterback from
It was
Vanderbilt.
bizarre to watch.
He had a huge game, a breakout game against Southeastern Louisiana, and then he only played 7 snaps against Arizona and only ran the ball on one of them. He hasn't even attempted a pass this year, and obviously Will Rogers is the better passer, the better quarterback. But I mean, this was a guy that started it for an SEC program at quarterback. He can definitely throw the ball, and eventually they're going to have to work that into his repertoire, or teams are just going to stack the box every time they see 14 in the backfield. But going back to what you were saying about LSU's defensive front, I think that's a major concern for Mississippi State, especially in pass pro. I'm a big pro football focused guy, like looking at the analytics and the numbers and ratings and see how that can change the game. And
you saw Harold Perkins versus you saw it last week.
Yeah, well, so Mississippi State last week had a 45 pass pro rating. That's garbage. And for the season, they have their pass pro rating is 62, which ranks 75th in college football. Their starting right tackle had a pass pro rating of 29 last week. So again, that's awful. And when I see what LSU's done with their defensive front, they had generated more pressures against a better offensive line in Florida State with not even having their full depth of guys, missing Mason Smith in that game. So that everyone knows that these guys are bigger test and bigger size-wise and skill-wise and speed-wise than what Mississippi State saw against Arizona. So I think that's a very big concern in terms of how long Will Rogers is going to be able to hold the ball back there to find a guy downfield. That's why I think with the speed that Mississippi State has in the slot with, again, guys, Tulu Griffin, Zavion Thomas, maybe a true freshman Creed Whittemore had a big game against Southeast Louisiana. Use that speed to their advantage, quick passes, and force LSU to make tackles.
All right, before I let you go, we ask everybody this, especially guys that come on here. The line is 10. The over-under is 54. What's your prediction of the game, right? Who's going to win, and do you like those lines? Do you think it's going to be – you think LSU's going to cover the 10? You think Mississippi State's going to cover the 10? Do you think Mississippi State wins, or do you think they're going to go over under the 54 points? Give me your predictions.
Yeah, I think LSU's going to win. I do think Mississippi State's going to cover.
Okay.
A home game, they're expecting a big crowd, 11 a.m.
A lot of cowbells at 11 a.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
how has this been indoctrinated into being able, Mississippi State, to be the only school in the country to be able to have artificial noisemakers? It's just grandfathered in?
So I've actually been only in Starkville since April. I'm a Michigan guy, which we can get into before I leave too.
Nice.
I mentioned I'm a big Tigers
It's got
fan.
in his back pocket.
I went to Michigan State, so this SEC environment stuff down here is still new to me. But the rule that they have down here is that they're allowed to ring the cowbells until the center is over the ball. Once that happens, they got to put the cowbells down and it's just yelling. So I think that's what they agreed upon with the SEC. I think at one point the SEC tried to ban it and were unsuccessful. But I think LSU covered, or LSU Mississippi State covers. I think I had a 27-24 or 37-34, something like that. I think this is just such a big stretch in Mississippi State's schedule with home against LSU and then going to South Carolina next week before hosting Alabama. I mean, they got to get one of these first 2 games against either LSU or South Carolina to have goals of an 8-9 and even maybe a 10-win season.
Oh, wow. That's in there, right? The 10-win season is in there. Okay. It's going to be interesting. I think –
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think only 7 wins is the goal. But I mean, when you have as much veteran guys starting in the senior leadership on both sides of the ball, I mean, that's what they think that they can do. And if that's the goal, then they got to get one of these 2, either against LSU or South Carolina.
No doubt. I'm with you, though. I think LSU wins. I do think they cover, though. And I'm going to go with the
over, sure.
The under. No, I'm going with the under. You convinced me to go with the under. So you went to Michigan State. Yeah, they convinced me.
Wow.
Where'd you live in Michigan?
So I'm from West Bloomfield, Michigan. It's about
nice. Yeah, I know
30
where
minutes south. Yeah, from Detroit. Huge Lions fan, been a season ticker all my.
So you're loving what's happening right now, huh?
Yeah.
No, I don't understand how I had a voice after that game on Thursday. I don't understand how I didn't get the cops called on me, to be honest.
Did you buy a blue ski mask too?
No, no, I don't. That seems like an iffy thing for me. I'm, having 40,000. I mean, they're not going to have that many people wearing ski masks, but that just seems. It takes one bad apple to screw that up and do something silly down there, and they're going to get away with it because they got a blue ski mask on. But no, I'm loving what the Lions are doing, and
that's how you end up on
slowly
8 Mile
getting
Road.
back on the Tiger train now that a young core there.
Yeah, they got some. They've hit.
Emerged.
Yeah, they've hit on some of those young guys. Obviously Carpenter's been good. Torkelson, you were nervous maybe a little bit last year, but then this year he's about to hit 30 homers. So, it looked like they're going. Look, Miggy's his last year, so you're going to get that contract off the books.
They should let him play it down for the Lions.
It's tough these days to follow an entire 162 game season during the summer. But I've dialed a little bit back in these last couple weeks because we're down to the final weeks of Miggy. Him and JV were my two heroes growing up, and one's retiring, the other one's winning World Series on another team. But hopefully you enjoyed your time with the club. Like I said, it took me a second to connect the dots. That I recognized the name, but then I was like, oh crap, he played with the Tigers, and I told my friends back home. They got a good kick out of it. We were actually talking about trying to remember some of your moments with the club.
No. How about when I knocked the home run over the fence?
Came up.
You can be honest and tell us if that one came up.
Wasn't the one. That wasn't the one that came up. Was after the Mickey fight against the Yankees. You guys go back to New York, and out of all people, they decide to plunk you. And I remember you got up and you were pissed off. That was the first one that came to our mind.
Dude,
I like that one better. Hit me in the head. 98 miles an hour. What do you
It's in our trailer where he goes, fuck.
No, but I enjoyed
we completely forgot you were in for the game that Mickey got in that fight too. I had to look back and look at the box score and you were in the lineup that day.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed my time there. I wish I had more time there. The fan base there was amazing, and
so good. Mikey decided to give him a ball.
Yeah, just decided to knock over a home run. But it should have been a double. Actually, they misrolled that. It should have been a double. Hit the fence twice. Should have been double, but they didn't do it. Whatever. It's a home run. It's a blooper. It's on my blooper.
Some film somewhere. That's it.
But no, I enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed being there. I wish it was there longer. You have one more LSU guy that's over there. Alex Lang's over there. And he's doing really well for y'all. So at least there's somebody up there for me to kind of keep an eye on. So, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate the fact that you're from Michigan. And, enjoy this weekend, and we'll talk to you again.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
One more Mel Tucker on the way out, huh? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my God.
You need another 3 or 4 hour show to go on.
Yeah. We'll get you back on later to talk about that one, too. That's a mess. Wow. That's a mess. All right, dude. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Well, look at you dropping the Mel Tucker in there right at the end.
Lloyd really wanted that one.
Right at the end.
I had to do it on the way out. Bye.
I'm glad that's how they remember me there. I'm glad they don't remember the home run I knocked over. Now, I think he did have it flipped. I think I got hit. The game in New York happened before the game in Detroit, I think.
I hope so. I'm about to say,
well, you can't be the one to remember.
Hey, wait, he hit you with the of all people. Hey, man, show some respect, man. My bad words too. What you mean of all people?
That was my best year in the big league.
What you mean
At that time, I was hitting like 315.
Yeah, I mean, they hit him for a reason now.
Yeah, I was hitting 2-hole. It's great.
2-hole guy always gets hit.
Not the guy that probably should have been hit. I mean, we had Kinsler on the team still. We had Miggy on the team still. We had Victor Martinez on the team still. We had Castellanos on the team. A lot of really good players. A lot of really good players that probably could have gotten hit. And then I really do think that the game in New York was first, and then the game in Detroit was second. And the game in Detroit was a retaliation because we retaliated to them, hit Ellsbury in New York.
Oh, they're going.
And so I think they retaliated on that because our pitcher hit them again after he hit a homer. Gary Sanchez hit a homer, and then he hit him on accident. It was not intentional. And then so they retaliated and threw behind Miggy, and that's when it happened. So I think that's how, but I could be wrong. Maybe I got rattled in the head a little bit and don't remember.
I think they hit
98 in the head. 98 comes in quick. I got out the way enough to where just
Harrison Smith
skipped off the top. Harrison Smith killed that guy yesterday, by the way.
Devonta Smith.
He killed nobody mentioned that in the game. I'm like,
I missed it too. I saw y'all say it.
It was an interception. And Devontae came up and Harrison Smith laid him out. I'm saying like, how did nobody, the announcers didn't announce it. Nobody.
I didn't see that. I missed it.
How do we feel about Kirk? I like Kirk. I feel like Al Michaels is like checked out a little bit.
Yeah, Al was saying some stuff last night. I'm like, how?
Or does he not like Kirk?
That's an odd working relationship to me.
But why? Kirk seems like he's very likable.
I mean,
is it Al's fault?
I think this is instant analysis right now happening right now. It's the relationship between Kirk and Fowler is so good that Al and Herb Street comes off a little bit different. Like when you have Kirk and Herb Street and Fowler in the booth, it seems like, oh my God, that must be his best man at the wedding.
They've had a longer
right.
time together.
And Al is kind of like, I wouldn't say checked out. Corso's checked out.
He's on the back end of his career.
He's eating steaks at halftime, and like every time.
What?
He gets a steak dinner at halftime and eats it in the booth.
Really?
Yeah. Baller move.
Who?
Wow.
He's never
Where's
had
he
a
get the steak from? They don't do it in the stadium.
I think he has a guy. Like
he has a guy just bringing this George Foreman grill and he's doing the steak.
I know. I'd like to get it ordered for him from a restaurant and brings it up to the booth. Like Al's been doing it that long.
Is he getting it for Kirk too?
I don't think so.
Doesn't sound like it.
And
here's the deal. Here's the rule. If you're gonna bring food in to a clubhouse,
for everybody.
You bring enough. Not it doesn't have to be for everybody, but you bring enough for whoever wants to have an opportunity.
It can't just be yours.
Like you come in there with donuts. You better have donuts for everybody. You come in there with something. You have something for everybody. If you're going to eat there in front of your teammates, and that for him, it's only one more steak. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can afford it.
And he's never had a vegetable in his life.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Look, he's great. It feels like,
Al doesn't like going from, was he on Sunday night or Monday night?
Sunday night.
To Thursday, where he's like,
Yeah, but he made that decision, didn't he? Or no? ESPN wanted him out. NBC wanted him out.
A lot of transitions in the booth.
A lot of swapping around.
Well,
Joe Buck.
It's like the 3 helmet thing before the game, like during the game.
Yeah.
A 3-card Monty?
One? Yeah.
Where's that? All right. Before we move off of actual stuff that people want to hear about, I asked you this question.
What? Don't take a shot at our segments.
No, I'm not. We're just talking. Right now we're talking about nothing. We're talking about Al Michaels in the booth, which is great. People may want to hear about that. But I do have a couple questions. Me and you, I talked to you about this. Was it today or yesterday when I asked you about Brian Kelly? It feels like Brian Kelly in the media right now.
It's today.
Is saying stuff about injuries. But to me, it just feels like he's doing that because he doesn't want to let anybody know anything on the other teams, right? Like, I don't know. I think to me it feels like Mason Smith's going to play. I feel like he's downplaying that. Mason Taylor's going to play. Mason Smith is playing. I feel like he's downplaying that. And then he said Omar Spate's doubtful. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's true. But part of me feels like he's going to play. I don't know. I could just be overthinking it. That's the vibe I get.
What did I say in the text? Like, I can't figure him out. And if that's what he wants to do, then great. But the only reason that this is probably getting a little bit of like notoriety is because he came out early in the year and said there's no reason to hide any injuries. Like I'm going to the NFL.
And he's
model
not hiding anything, but the way he says it,
it's very cagey.
And maybe these guys are healthier than they think, or maybe they're.
I don't think Omar's playing. I think
Then he's right about that.
Yeah, but you don't go. Doubtful is a tough one to put out there and then play him.
The questionable or probable.
No, he said doubtful. Mason Taylor was probable.
Right.
And then he goes, and then Omar Spates is probably doubtful, which is great.
That's when he
delicious.
Said that. When he said that, I was like, okay, maybe
that's what got your brain turning.
Yeah, maybe he is gonna play.
I think Spates is probably out. Mason Taylor almost has to play in my mind. And first SEC game and how much you use him in the offense, it would be tough.
Listen, my prediction is not looking great on the yardage. It's not looking great. He can have some monster games, but not looking great.
And I'm not even talking about how integral he is to the passing game. It's how much they use him in motion and assignment football. He knows exactly what's going on. That's why they would want Mason Taylor out there. He could be a decoy. But, yeah, your prediction, we tried to talk you off that ledge.
Well, no, it's not. It's what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's but bold predictions are bold predictions. It's something that's not likely to happen but could happen. You know?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, you mentioned that you think he's a has to play. I think every starter is a has to play if you're healthy. It's not healthy enough to get out there.
So Omar Spates is out. Greg Penn starts.
Doubtful, basically.
Okay, let's say he's out.
Basically
Greg Penn starts. Middle linebacker.
Move Harold back to the middle.
No, Greg Penn starts, right? Middle linebacker. And you're gonna have the Weeks brothers out there. You're gonna have some depth pieces out there.
Know which one to name.
And here's the deal, though. Like, I think that, like, in a situation like this, you're gonna find out something about some of these. Not necessarily Greg Penn, because he can do what he needs to do. But you're gonna find out on some of these younger guys who really haven't got too much run at linebacker. Say, oh, maybe this guy just is a gamer. You put him in the game, maybe he figures it out, and he just plays better that way. And I hope that's the case. Like you had guys like Baskerville and those guys that took some time, but they eventually figured it out in a way. So, hopefully.
I'm very interested to see what the defensive side of the ball looks like tomorrow.
Me too.
Because I think it's a huge question mark.
I like to see them come out real aggressive.
Like. I'm really leaning on the over and them not covering tomorrow. That's just
LSU not covering.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
I don't blame you.
Well, let's go. Look, that's a perfect segue. Let's get to our bets. Let's get to our bets.
Real quick before we get there, if Omar Spates is in fact
not playing,
it's a terrible time to have an injury at that position against a team that you're going against, where it feels like they like that. That's why I asked Frommer about like this narrative of Mississippi State's gonna start throwing it. Bro, I have lived through this situation. When you think your coach is gonna like kind of maybe make adjustments throughout the year, when you have a coach like that, it don't happen.
Well, but here's the deal.
Like,
though.
he doesn't know what he doesn't know yet.
I know that.
Les Miles is going to change the offense every year.
All right, and he did until the season about to start.
Until he didn't, yeah. Ed O's changed the offense. Matt Canada, let's do all this. Like, actually scrap it.
Ed O did change the offense when he brought in Ensminger, but it wasn't until he brought in.
They worked in tandem.
Yeah, right. But
it's another controversy you can step in.
I think the running game, like stopping the running game for these linebackers, is better. Like, I think I'll go the opposite end of that. Right? If this is a game where Omar Spates is not playing and they're going to try to run the football, to me as a linebacker, that's easier transition than to say I have to know these coverages and drop into coverage and understand these types of things for those young guys to come in there and just play well. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's kind of better for the young guys because if you are going to just almost in a way kind of be,
you know what I mean?
In a way kind of be predictable and literally just try to ram it down their throats the whole time, I do think you get those young kids in there who are literally just going to fly around and just run and try to wreak havoc in there. So I think it works to their advantage, if you will. But also, game 2 of Mason coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big jump here too?
Right.
And I think that's going to be a huge piece in the kind of how this whole defensive part like kind of fits together tomorrow.
And Brian Kelly came out this week and said he has a little soreness in his knee.
Of course.
Of course.
Right.
Like, that's just going to happen. What?
Have y'all seen The Path? Like the LSU goal?
I actually saw the episode of it, yeah.
What?
He just looks a little hampered. Like soreness is for like that's
for sure.
That's
the
easy way to put it.
But here's like that's going to happen. And then you spend the week on trying to get it out, and your body's gonna start getting used to it. You would hope.
Here's the thing: when you say soreness, is like, yeah, he's gonna have the soreness, but soreness and actually being hurt is a little bit different. And you wonder if by 12 o'clock tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, if the cowbells, the sun, the bodies in the stadium,
adrenaline's
the soreness
kind of
leaves his mind, and if he's able to just go and play. That's really what I'm worried. I'm not really worried. Of course, I expect him to be sore. I expect him to favor it during the week. But is he able to move past that stuff and by the time it's kickoff tomorrow, just be able to show up and play?
Well, here's what happens, right? When you recover from these injuries, and everybody recovers different. But
such a large human.
Well, yeah, that too. I'm not near his size, so like I can't even fathom having 300 plus pounds on an injury like that. But in my experiences of guys who have coming back, me coming back, guys coming back from injury, a big injury like that, it takes some time to trust yourself, right? And you're still going to have some soreness, and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, is this ever going to go away? And then all of a sudden you just wake up one day and you go through it and you're like,
I don't have that feeling.
It's not sore anymore. Like, and your body just kind of got used to it and kind of flushed all that. Like, it's been so much trauma in there. And I'm not a doctor. I'm talking just based off of I have no idea how the science works on this. But when there's so much trauma in there, it feels like it takes a little while for all that's like those kinks to like just get out. And then once you kind of get past that hurdle, okay, I feel back to normal. So, and we talked about it. It's going to take him a little while.
There's also another side of it, too, of even if you're not past the actual feel of it, there's the mental hurdle of some guys literally have to get to a point, whether you do get to the I don't feel anything, or you literally just sit there and you tell yourself, hey, bro, this is what I got. So I'm going to just go and play.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So,
and that's if and when guys actually get there, no one knows but the person. You know what I mean? And that's hard to judge.
And if his workload's lower, I'm okay with it as long as when he's in there, he can go 100%.
And that's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really care what I see. I've seen guys, bro. Who literally don't touch the practice field until Friday. And Friday is usually either just shells and or just helmets. And they literally can't walk during the week. Saturday comes, they play all 60 minutes. Yeah. Like I've seen this happen before. So like I know that type of stuff goes on. So I don't really care what it looks like during the week, right? Saturday is what I'm worried about, is if he can take it to that next level.
Yeah. Do you think you see him on a snap count?
No,
I don't know. I mean,
it would just be game dependent, like what he looks like during the game. Like, okay,
I think if anything, snap count is, and I just don't. But I think if at all it would have happened, it would be because of actual conditioning, not where the knee is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Any world in which he comes back next year?
I mean, it depends. It depends on what happened with the knee. It depends on what happened with the season. It depends on what the prospects of him getting drafted in the first, second round.
Right.
You know, because I think that if he does come back and he does feel healthy towards the end of the year and he does come back and he's not projected a first, second round, I think he is a first rounder, right, if he's healthy. So I think it's just – is there a world? Yes. Do I think he comes back? I think that's a long shot.
If he comes back, the LSU season didn't probably go as expected, right?
Not necessarily. I think his season didn't go as expected as far as health-wise.
Which leads you to how the defense played, I would imagine. Or health-wise.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, we talked about it. The front four is deeper than any other positions on the defense. I think that him being on there is a huge addition to the team. Like, I think it's paramount for the defense to get to where they need to be. But I think if he is not as healthy as he needs to be for this year, I think the front four is the one position that they could kind of be pretty decent at. I think the back end is what's going to hurt it. So I don't know if his importance to the defense, it's very important, but I don't think it's like dependent upon the defense going to suck.
Make or break.
Right.
I honestly think the only way you actually see him back is if the game tape sucks.
Right.
And it's nowhere near the draft grade he thought he would get. Because let's be honest, like, you play the season, if you come out of the season somewhat healthy, you train for the combine, you do what you need to do in the combine, you get the draft grades you want, dudes like that don't come back. Right? So I think if the game tape sucks into where it almost kind of doesn't matter what he does in the combine situation, the ceiling's lowered, I think that's the only chance you got to get him back.
Yep. Agreed. All right.
What do you think of the chances? One more on
LSU. This is good.
Brian Kelly talked about Deshaun Womack. And
I can't wait.
Yeah, I think he needs to be inserted more.
Can't wait. Like,
he's a lightning rod, dude.
Those are the guys you need to start playing.
Yeah.
Like, these guys came in here, they're 5 stars, they're super talented, and they are doing things that you like to see. Put them in the game then. Let them show you what they can do in a game, in a situation. This is going to be a great barometer for LSU. Right? This is the biggest matchup since Florida State, obviously. It's the third game of the season.
This is a season-deciding game.
I don't want – no,
that's a false statement.
I'm not talking about from our perspective. I'm talking about the narrative that's going to go around if they lose at Mississippi State at 11 a.m.
No, for sure.
It's not true.
I'm not talking about us.
I'm not talking about us either. I'm literally saying on a national scale, outside of there being 4 undefeated squads, if they lose this game and run the table from here on out, look impressive against Alabama, look impressive in an SEC title game, there's no way in hell you're going to sit here and tell me that everybody at the end is going to be like, man.
I agree with that 100%. And to your point, I think that's an over-exaggeration of this is a season-defining game.
It will be for a week.
I think that if they go and lose, yes, there's a lot more red flags and a lot more question marks, and there's a lot more things you need to do. I don't think that they go there and lose. I think this is a barometer as far as, hey, what adjustments have we done? If you start to see improvement and they're still not, I don't expect them to be perfect.
They never will be.
But if you see the improvements, and even if they win by 4 points and it's not super clean and they win, that's huge. Get out of there with a win. Show me that you've made these adjustments and move forward. Now, if they lose, yes, more red flags. Not season defining though. Like still correctable, still able to listen. All the other teams you're going to play, you have a chance to win. And now you don't want to worry about that. You don't want to have to. Hey, we have to win out. But
it's not season defining.
It's a big game to look.
Is it at the end of week 3 where you look at it and be like, holy shit, they are on life alert?
Yes.
Yeah.
Panic button.
100%.
Yes.
But if you do what you need to do the rest of it, when you look back at it, it's not season defining.
Yeah. And
I don't
on
see
that note, I don't think that we lose, obviously.
Get into your picks.
Yes. Okay. I have Florida. I like Florida +6. I like the under in that game as well, 56.5. I like the LSU +9.5. It's 10 now, but keep an eye on it. Could come back down.
Hold on. Did you just check it?
I checked it before the show.
It is now, because I saw it move while we were talking to Crain.
Did we move it? Did it was because of us?
9.5.
It went back down 9.5. There you go. So 9.5. And I said y'all convinced me to go under.
54.
The over-under is 54. Jared says over. I'm going to do my thing in my head. LSU wins 35-17. Is that over? Nope.
49.
No, 35.
35. Oh, wow.
17.
Yeah, I'm off that.
So it's 45 plus 7.
Yeah.
52. That's not over.
I was thinking 35-14.
Why don't they let you tease college games?
I like the under.
This is a perfect tease opportunity.
You convinced me. I like the under. I think that I like the under.
Like I said already, I'm going over, and I go that they don't cover. I'm not exactly sure that they have the defensive stuff ironed out. I see some big plays being had for Mississippi State, which is going to force LSU to push the ball down the field a little bit more. I like the over. I like them not covering but winning.
Okay. All right. I like that. I have Colorado -24.
How could you not?
I got them minus the world.
I honestly, and I may look at it and say, I'm going to make another bet. This will probably be a Saturday kind of feel-good bet.
After you get off whatever you did before.
Yeah. I may take Colorado -30 just to do it with a small wager on it and just change the line
40
and make it to where it's like, you know what? I think they're going to blow them out of the water, and I'm going to take this. It's not smart. Don't do that. It's just going to be an emotional bet for me. I also like the under. I'm going to take Jake's.
Those two SEC unders?
Yeah, I'm going to take the South Carolina, Georgia under. I do think I like the South Carolina plus 27.5.
I was going to say sprinkle a little on the money line.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Just in case.
They ain't winning it. I have no doubt.
No, but the odds are so good. You could put $1 on it and win $25.
Well, why would I do that?
Because who doesn't want $25 for free?
That's not, I mean, if I'm going to bet it, I'm going to bet something to where I could substantial $1 or $25. I don't like that. It's not going to do it for me. But
okay,
I do like.
Put $5 on it.
I do like. I do like that line. 27 has a lot of points. A lot of points.
I was just the reason I said money line. They're either going to get blowed out, and you're going to figure out how good Georgia is, or it's going to be close.
Look, Georgia can beat them by 27. That's still blown out.
Or you're going to look up and go 40-3, and it's like I could have spent $2 to win 50, or I just bet on 27.5 and it's 40-3.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Georgia's who we thought they were. We
let
them off the hook.
I think they are who we thought they are. It's going to take some time for that quarterback to continue to go.
Scares me.
Beamer ball.
I agree.
They're going to come out there and play defense. They're going to do something on special teams. And Spencer Rattler's a wild card. Like, this guy could go and throw for 450, or he could throw 4 interceptions. You know, because the offensive line stinks. So
Georgia probably has a good defensive line.
That's what they hang their hat on. No?
That's a good bet.
Actually, it's probably.
I haven't seen them play a game.
It's actually probably not a good bet.
Yeah, Kirby's defensive lines at LSU are pretty solid too, huh?
Yeah,
that's his thing.
Yeah,
pretty smart.
Seems to do well when it comes to finding the right guys for that.
Jalen Carter doing well in the NFL or no?
No.
Well, the whole defensive line for the Phillies for the Eagles. For the Eagles.
You're right. The defensive line for Philly was at Georgia.
Yeah, the whole Eagles were at Georgia. That's.
Yeah, I mean, we need to put.
And some linebackers.
Did you bet any Heisman odds on Shadur or?
I haven't. I didn't do.
We should just go ahead and do it before this game.
I didn't do any.
We'll swallow the what it should have been.
Shadur may throw for 600.
No, I think you're fine before this game. Is once they get to the USC. Once they get to the USC game and they get through that game, if they were to win,
I'll put a future on him.
That's where you've blown the money you could have really made on it, because that's where it'll.
But I think he's going to get unleashed this game because of what the coach said, and that was downright.
What do you mean he's going to get unleashed? He threw for 5.
No, but I'm saying he ain't going to call the dogs off.
Oh no, but I don't think that should do it.
What is unleashed though? What do you think he's going to Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield a game? Like what? He threw for 500 already this year. Unleashed is what, 620?
No, I'm saying
20-point dog.
I'm saying they're going to be up a lot, and they're not going to stop.
Lloyd, they're not going to stop. But if they're up by 45.
Throw it again.
Listen to me. If they're up by 45 and there's still 20 minutes left in the game.
Throw it again.
No, he's on the sideline, Coach. Yes, he is.
I know.
And they'll throw it again with the backup. Like, what are you talking about?
Name him.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Deion Sanders Jr., put down that video camera and put a jersey on.
It does not matter. No, he doesn't have 10 toes anymore.
Sunglasses and hats.
No, I said Deion Sanders Jr.,
okay.
favorite son.
Okay. Yeah, power rankings.
People are surprised. Like, he's been doing that for, like,
That's
ever.
not new. Yeah,
it's not new.
That's not new. What?
Everybody's just new to the prom game.
Power ranking his kids. It's not new.
He's been doing it forever.
Oh, yeah. But I think it's like all I love. Like it's.
Yeah, but they brought it up in the news cycle now as if like it's brand new or something. It's not new. He's been doing that forever.
Yeah, and look, obviously his sons are okay with it because they're two of them are playing for him.
They don't care. The one he literally said, Shadur, he said that's the one that spent the absolute most time with him, and he's not at the top. So like, man, they don't. Care.
Shiloh's always last, which is the funniest thing. At the prime time. Don't y'all laugh at that when he's doing rehab?
Y'all
think that funny? I'm prime son.
What do you like? What best do you like?
Let's see what I've taken so far. Open bets at 54. Lost.
I'm so excited about like this weekend for football, just because it's like for me. It's like last week I think it was Grambling. It's just hard to really get up as a fan for that. This one I'm excited because I actually am going to be intently watching this game.
Well, after the first quarter.
I'm gonna be intently watching it the first quarter too, which is not in my house. So, yes, go tell me about your bets.
4-leg teaser. If you don't mind.
Let's hear it.
Gamecocks, Bulldogs, under 61. Tigers, Bulldogs, LSU, Mississippi State, under 60.5. The Tide and the Bulls of USF, under 67.5, which sounds good in my head.
Is it just wild to me, or why is Alabama going to South Florida?
I think they did a home and home.
Yeah, why? That is very weird. Why
is my
why
point?
Is
why?
Recruiting.
Yeah, Coach, he's got a PJ. You don't need that for recruiting.
I'm just trying to give you an excuse for what. Maybe he loves South Florida.
He doesn't need that for recruiting.
I missed on Patrick Peterson.
Promise you can get on the jet anytime he wants to get there. You don't need that for recruiting.
Call Darren back.
Yeah. Pee Wee wanted him on the jet.
That was great. I'm against that.
Okay.
I'm against that.
And the last one of the 4-leg teaser, buying 6.5 points. Volunteers and Gators under 63. That's my 4 legs. And a 2-leg parlay under 56.5. Tennessee, Florida under 54.5. Gamecocks, Bulldogs. Because I don't believe in Carson Beck yet. I haven't seen him have to try.
Right. That's the big thing. Is like, what is he gonna do? What are you gonna see with him? I don't know.
He's a weirdo.
But the good thing is you play for Georgia and you know that your offensive line's going to be really good and your defensive line's going to be really good. They don't have to rely on you right now.
Kirby Smart's going to be excited.
Yeah. So
at home.
Yeah, I don't mind those. I'm gonna.
Oh, I'll do some more. Don't you worry.
Look, I need to start teasing some stuff with you. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, I had to hear from Peter first. That's okay.
He's more credible.
Hear from Peter to pay Paul. Lloyd.
Is that how it works?
It's in the Bible.
Well, but you're not Lloyd. They didn't pay Lloyd. Okay.
Who got paid?
Jay, do you have one that you like, or you're gonna surprise us with the weekend picks?
I'm a surprise.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
I hadn't even really dove into it yet, so. That's usually my Saturday morning type of thing.
So Jack in our other show had a list of
Judas got paid. pay Peter to pay Judas.
It's not Judas
Iscariot.
No. You're messing in the whole. It's okay.
I can't believe you just like what?
I know. It's okay. Let's get to the seggies. Mistake of the day. It's not. Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place.
Give him the kiss.
You got a mistake of the day?
I do have a mistake of the day.
Okay.
And we've talked about it a little bit. My mistake of the day. It's just got to be the Colorado State head coach.
That is it.
It could also be, this is almost like a double if it was that, I'll get to my curtain call in a second. But we hit on it a lot. But the way that he spoke about it and the way that he talked about, there's a different, look, you saw Brian Kelly at his coaches conference and or his, like, whatever you call it, like whenever they do the coaches radio show on location and there's fans there and you want to say something that gets the crowd a little excited. He's like, oh, we're going to beat Florida State's ass or beat their butt, whatever he said. Like, that's like a little raw moment. Like, I get it. You're playing to the crowd. What he said, it seemed like intensely personal. It was a shot at Dion that, why would you do it? Why would you go out of your, like, I took my hat off, took my sunglasses off and spoke to him like a man, not a boy. And it's just such a bizarre mistake to make against a team that you don't have to rile them up. This is the third week in a row that you've seen Colorado come into a game with a reason to be, like, to get up. Like, this could have been a letdown game for Colorado after the first 2 weeks where you could have snuck up on them. Mm-hmm. And instead, you give them reason to, like, and this is what I wanted to ask you a little bit, Dose, he plays mistake of the day. But has there ever been, like, bulletin board material where you've heard that's actually been like, oh, wait, what? Like, now I'm actually into it. As opposed to, like, you can see stuff all the time that comes out the media where you're like, yeah, of course they're going to talk noise. This was like a shot for no.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's not about, I wasn't into it and now I'm into it. It was,
but
okay,
this was going to be Colorado taking care of business.
Right. Like, I was locked in. I know what I need to do. But, like, now I'm real locked in. Like, now
I have an emotional tie.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now you're going to get, hey, you may get a double, but now you're going to get the double with the yelling at second base, and, like, you're going to get a little bit more energy, and it's personal. Like you say, like, I understand that. And as an athlete and as a coach, you would love to find that every week, and that's what Prime's done. Like, he is finding these things. Now Colorado State gave it to him on a silver platter. Here you go. I know you're looking for something. Here it is. You're welcome. Now they're going to score 100 points, and they're going to beat the shit out of them. And he's going to shake hands with the glass on his face, the whole deal.
Oh, he's going to take them off.
But to your point, yes, it's happened. Like, I've done it. It happened to, a couple times in college, and it happens a couple times, not really in the big leagues, because, like,
such a long season.
Baseball's not really. Postseason would have been different had I played in that, but I didn't. So, yeah, to your point, yes. I just don't know why. I don't know why they did that.
It's stupid.
It's so dumb. So you're going to lose by 50 points.
That's what you call a mistake of the day.
That was mistake of the day. Our next segment is our curtain calls, brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners. What an idiot. Assured Partners brought to you by curtain calls brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
And
me. For all your insurance news, give us a call. We do great work. We're actually the best at what we do. So give us a shot. Let us show what we can do.
Call Mikey at 337.
Yeah, 337. You'll find it. Just call Assured Partners. You can find that number in there. What's your curtain call?
Just because we're fresh off the heels of Thursday Night Football, I'm going to give it to something that was kind of cool to watch. Thursday Night Football happens. I will give my curtain call today to DeAndre Swift.
Oof.
His return home.
Also, his dad is jacked.
Yeah, he is. It makes sense now, right? It kind of felt like you were
Genetics
watching
are weird.
Shut the hell up, Lloyd. Here's my curtain call. Kind of felt like you were watching a feel-good moment right there. His first return home to play at home. Not only does he go for 28 and 175, that 175 is his career highest in yards.
Most yards by a Philly running back since LaShawn McCoy in 2014.
That's another little snippet in there for you. So I'll give him some love for that because that's actually kind of cool to be able to go home in front of your people and actually do something like that for the hometown team too.
Sneaky harder to do than you think.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, to go back home.
You always try to do too much in those situations.
To go back home and be able to keep yourself level and make sure that you're doing these things, you want to go out and put on for your hometown. And that's harder to do than people think. Yeah. And he went and did a great job doing it. So, shout out.
That.
You got one, Lloyd?
I do.
Okay.
Curtain call to my brother. It's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. September 15th, since we did this last week for Renato. Figured we'd keep the train rolling, but happy birthday to Sean, September 15th. Never forget. happy birthday to him, moving to Chicago, and now he's become a massive. Always been a Cubs fan, but now
Is he
they're
enjoying Chicago?
Yes, well, with the Cubs going on a run, he is all the way in now.
Well,
so
you got to clarify that he's been in Chicago for a little bit already.
A year.
Okay. Well, you said it like moving to Chicago, like it's happening. I'm like, wait.
Well, the winter was tough on him. He didn't know it got
tough.
that cold.
That's tough.
But
of course.
he's been a Cubs fan his whole life. Now he gets to see a Cubs go on a little mini run here, but also happy birthday. to the
Happy
bro.
birthday.
Nice.
Sean, happy birthday.
Because I haven't told him yet, so hopefully he watches it.
Okay. I mean, it's 3 o'clock.
See why.
I feel, knowing Lloyd, I feel like that wasn't done purposely either. Like
No.
it just hit
Both
me.
of those things popped in my mind.
Yep. My curtain call is to Nick Saban. Not because he wins a lot and not because he is very good and probably the best coach of all time. It's because you've seen it with Tom Brady. You saw it with see a little bit with Aaron Rodgers right now. As these coaches progress or these players progress in their lives and they get older and they see things in a different light, you start to see a different side of them, a different personality that they may have always shown or had, but just not really showing it to the public. And I think Nick Saban's done that over the course of the last 3 years. And a lot of people confuse that with, oh, he's checked out, he's about to retire. I don't think that's it. I think that he just understands that it's the world we live in now, and he understands that this is stuff that is going to relate more to some of these athletes that come in. And this clip is, I'm sure this guy calls in every week, and they have these nice little banters and conversations. But, you know, he does stuff with McAfee now every week, and he's funny, and he does some stuff, and he laughs. You see more smiles from Nick Saban. This is pretty good, though.
Sounds like Pee Wee's on his neck every
this
week.
is pretty good, though. This is pretty good.
Coach, how are you, sir?
Well, Pee Wee, I've been wanting to talk to you all week, man. I mean, we got to firm up the pocket. We're setting too soft. We're getting pushed back in the middle. All right, everybody thinks we can't hold up against the blitz, but they're sacking us with 4-man rush, 1 3-man rush. Only 1 sack came off for pressure, so I wanted to ask you what the hell's going on.
I believe you covered it all right there, Coach. Coach, how are you, sir?
I mean, that's about as perfect as you could do that.
Lovely.
That's great. To me, that's awesome. I think we need more of that from coaches. It's great. I think you're starting to see that. That's my current call.
Is this him phasing into retirement?
I literally just said people think that's what it is. It's not it. No.
I don't think it is. I
He's
think
going to retire when he's ready.
Nick's one of those dudes. I feel like you're gonna get the absolute best that he's got until it's time to actually leave.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like that. But it is funny though. Like he probably saw the name come up and he was like, "No. You get no question this time.
I got this.
I got this one. No.
I love that. That's all we got for you today.
Pee Wee, I know you very well.
Take our bets or fade our bets, whatever you want to do. We're pumped. Saints play Monday Night Football, if y'all didn't know that.
It's double barrel Monday night, right? I think there's 2 games.
There's a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Saints
Took
are
the
one
under?
of them against the Panthers.
Pew, pew.
I don't even know what the over-under on that is yet.
38.
Is it 38?
Wow.
I think I'll take the over.
Take the over. It's an ugly one though, huh? God,
38. I mean,
that's as low as it could get right there.
And a half.
I mean, God.
Brought it up to 41.
yeah, I'm gonna take the over on that. But
I
got a few days. I got a few
Take
days
the
left of
Saints
that.
I mean,
over.
imagine. Can you imagine taking the under and actually wanting to watch that game?
I've been enjoying watching unders.
Awful. No, not 38-point unders.
What is I wonder what the Saints over like their side is.
That's what
I think I may take that.
And then go actual under, but Saints.
But
team
they
total.
also stink in Carolina. They've stunk there the last 2 times, and they don't win week 2 last
Trust me,
4 years.
we've seen one in person.
I watched it in person. It was very bad.
Very not good.
Is that Baker?
No.
What?
No.
When he played for the Panthers last year?
Oh, no.
That was
This
Sam Darnold.
2 years ago.
That was Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Sam versus Jameis.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all went to that?
Well, I mean.
Yeah, we did.
And then we played a game, and they had 2 homers the next day. That day
Yeah, we
that same
went
day.
there. We didn't
Drunk.
travel to it. We went to it.
I walked down the street, a couple drinks in my hand, tailgating.
You come here all the time.
Different situation there. Different situation. Watched the game. Was not good. It was super hot. Left at halftime because it was so bad. Had to walk back to the clubhouse because I had a game towards the end of the year. And played 2 homers. It was great. It was a great day. Great
Did
day.
you see the Panthers? Like the statue outside?
Yes.
That David Tepper put out there with the
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes,
You know
actually.
that was contractually in the sale of the team that he had to keep. You have to keep these out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like it. It was the whole area out there in Charlotte was pretty sick. Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Charlotte seems cool.
Yeah, the soccer. Yeah, everything's awesome. Everything's
It's
awesome.
not a seam. It's sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
I think it's not as sneaky as it used to be.
No, it's booming right now.
Yeah, it's booming.
I think it's like one of the top 10 cities in the nation, like where people are moving into.
Yeah,
it's booming right now.
Yeah,
Nashville.
big banking area.
A lot of young professionals there.
Speaking of booming, you see Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are putting out a song together.
Was it called CTE?
I mean, I every now and then someone retweets a Antonio Brown tweet, and it comes up on my feed, and he talked about Killer Bees are back, and
boys are buzzing.
And they had a picture. I'm like, boy, this.
I saw him absolutely flaming Russell Wilson on a podcast somewhere, and that was explosive.
I also saw him tweet at the Pittsburgh Steelers asking if they need a receiver.
I saw that too. Then I saw the picture that he actually posted with him and George Pickens on the field. Guy's out. He does a lot. He does a whole lot.
It's a lot.
Did you see the girl with the split tongue that he was with?
Yep, that was that's a lot
he's
too.
in a different stratosphere.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
I'm not jealous.
That
does not. I don't want any of that going in my head right now.
I mean, imagine waking up every day and being like, I don't know what's going to happen.
See the kids that picked up his phone when he lost his pants?
Threw his pants. He threw the pants.
I say lost it. That was
phone in the pocket.
Yeah.
Didn't realize phone was in the pocket.
Antonio manager. So you just don't know your manager's name. I'm done. I'm over.
Okay.
I'm done.
That's our Feel Good Friday for you today. We are fired up about the weekend. Hope everybody has a good time watching the game at 11 a.m. Wake up to some mimosas. Have a good time. LSU's going to win. Hopefully cover. Hopefully go. What did I say? Under?
I said over.
I said over. Hopefully go over.
Take both.
Hopefully go. Maybe I'll take both. Hopefully go over. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That thumbs up button. Love it. If you can't watch us, you like listening to us, we're anywhere you get your pods. And we will be back live in studio Monday at 6 to 8 p.m. watching the Saints game, talking about the Saints game, talking about the recap of the LSU game, and talking about how our bets all won. We went undefeated. We're going to go undefeated all weekend.
Yeah, I have the under. You have the over. Undefeated.
Well, I'm going to go undefeated. You can lose one game, one bet. You can lose one bet. I need it. You're playing with house money. I need to get my house money back. I need to get my money to the house. All right. We'll see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.
It won't transition. We're stuck. Stuck on you.